Good morning. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026, and we are here for our consent agenda review work session. Just got a walk on this morning from Kim Pope.
What was the walk on?
That's a grant that she's applying for.
Yeah, grant please. She is online. I can promote her to a panelist if you'd like, so she can
Sure.
talk about it a little bit more. Okay. I'll try not to break this one.
Morning, Kim.
Kim, are you there?
There we go.
Welcome. We haven't talked to you for a while. How's everything going?
Well, it has been, for some reason, I can't turn on my camera here. Let's see. Nope. Oh, there we go.
We had
Yeah,
an issue.
I get nothing. So sorry.
We had an issue with somebody yesterday. It took them a minute.
There we go. All right. It has been quite busy, quite the learning curve. And as I'm sure you've heard, there's a couple challenges here, but we're working through everything. And now, again, it's grant time. And so trying to get these grants turned in on time to fund everything is a lot. So it's been great though. I'm glad that I made the change, that's for sure.
Well, good.
Okay, and Tom Gaines does have well, I know you have some grants that you're already working with that Susie, that New Hope has been running with. Tom, we have contracted with a grant writer, a grant seeker.
Merchant McIntyre.
So,
Yes, and I have talked to them. In fact, later this week, I have 2 grants that I'm looking at with them and told them what our focus was. And so I'm hoping that they can work with me. One of them, we already are a sub-awardee, but it is through like Northwest Immigration. And so we are worried that that one will not go through again with the current federal administration. And so we're looking at alternatives instead of relying on that grant in particular.
okay, well, I'm glad you're working with Merchant McIntyre.
Yeah, I thought what a great service. And I said, well, if I get to come to Washington, D.C., they better show me around.
I'm sure you have the opportunity because we're always looking for grants and, well, they even have trainings over there. New Hope has trainings all over the place, all over the country.
Yeah, I have a couple staff that are going to DC the end of June, first part of July. But it was too soon for for me to do out of state travel when I found out about it. And so and I
Okay,
have enough to do
we
right
do have a
now.
policy, but if there is something like that that comes up, let us know and we will work with you.
Yeah. With our financial challenges that we've had, I feel that's a priority. I need to get that process completed, updated, and so we can move forward on that. So I will miss this year and plan on going next year.
Okay, is that process, the other process, the financial process, is that coming to an end? Have you heard? We haven't heard.
I do not know what the outcome is yet. And so, because of the situation, well, we terminated one employee.
Yep.
And then we have one that's on admin leave.
Yep.
And she actually, I've called her in on a couple days, like in the afternoon, to help me get caught up because we were behind on some of March, April, and May. invoices. And I said, well, I could figure it out, but it wouldn't be timely. It would probably take me 3 months to figure out what her process is because nothing is written down. And so I'm asking, I sit with her. She is not unsupervised the entire time she's here. And so it's a little difficult for me to get other work done. So it's just been
Well,
a
can
couple
somebody
of
else sit with
times.
her, or does it have to be you?
I don't know the answer to
You
that.
know, that might be an opportunity for somebody else to, so we can get caught up on some things. But we do have an
Right.
HR meeting today, so we can definitely visit about it.
Yeah. So we're all caught up for March and April. And then I'm hoping by the end of this week to be caught up with May. And then June will be due by July 10th. And I said, well, once we get caught up, then I can go step by step so that I know what that process is too. And I don't see an end to this anytime soon. Um, I would say not within the next month or 6 weeks. And no matter what happens, I mean, if that person were to return, that would be great, but we would need to figure out who is the backup because right now there was no backup. And if that person does not return, then I have to go through that process of hiring someone. So then I'll have months of no one in that position. And it's already been, oh my gosh, this all happened in March, I believe.
No, we need to expedite that, so we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. So, but other than that,
You're having
everything's
fun, right?
great. I mean, what a great group of people, just so dedicated to their work and passionate about it. It thrills me that they care so much about the clients that we serve. So they did a good job hiring our staff within, with the exception of the few bad apples, but for the most part, it's like this is such a wonderful group of people.
You have some great staff members, team members there.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, this just signifies how much I've missed our department head updates because, we kind of read about it, but I think that's different reading about it than having a one-on-one. So I would love to, like, once a month or just kind
Well,
of
yeah,
visit with our department heads, because I am really missing that connection with our department heads so maybe we
we need to do something a
talk
little
to
different.
Rob and Kevin and see if we can maybe have just a quick little update with all our department heads.
Well, there's enough of them, it wouldn't be quick, would it?
Well, I think we've had it before, like 15, 30 minutes, throughout.
Even if they're 10 minutes apiece,
Yeah.
it's still, at least we get to speak to you and
Yeah, see what's going
see
on.
what's happening in your world.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. All right.
Anything you need from us?
No, I
This
did
should be
have that face sheet that I sent forward for the consent agenda.
Yes, yeah.
If you have questions about that, this is not the contract. It is the face sheet that goes in, and it does need to be signed by you, Kevin, as the chair of the commissioner. Um, and that just needs to be turned in with the application. And then when the contract comes, then that will go through legal and then come to the commissioners for approval.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get that done this morning,
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Yeah. So that's all that I needed.
Okay. Well,
Well,
good.
except for that 1/10 of 1%, but
Yeah.
that one's never ending on my end.
So I don't know.
All righty. Well, thank you and have a great day.
All right. Thanks so much, you two. Have a good day.
Thank you, Kim. I don't think I have any other questions on here.
I think it's all pretty.
Rob did say he is stuck in traffic, he is on the way. He had said he's just sitting.
Yeah,
So-
I assume so.
Where is it on the highway, 17?
Yeah, they're starting to oil the gravel, so. If we have nothing else, we'll just go into recess until 9:30, so we'll have time.
It's 8 days.
One way to look at it, I suppose.
I'm joking.
Good morning, it is 9:30 and we are here for our prosecuting attorney's office update.
Hi, good morning, commissioners. I'd like to start off with, there was an updated contracts list that was emailed just this morning by our office. Things are moving through, and I just delivered one that was on the Wilson's Lake Senior Center contract. I just delivered to Madam Clerk, and so we can cross that one off the list as approved.
Okay.
Is there any specific questions regarding the list that I can answer at this point in time?
I'm gonna say that's a no.
What's the museum MOU? What's that all about?
So I believe that contract is with Miss Durbeck. My understanding of the contract is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was asking for that for volunteers, but I can certainly follow up with that and see, where it was at with
Oh,
that.
they're offering to volunteer?
I think historically they may have volunteered in the
Okay.
past,
Okay.
and I'm trying not to speak out of turn
Okay.
here, but just remembering where it was allocated in our office, and I think now they're asking for some formal agreements, but excuse me.
That came through our office. John dropped it off. Yes, that is an accurate summary. Barbara Durbeck has given a response, essentially saying that we should not, her recommendation was not to sign that. So I've passed the information on to John at the museum. I have not seen a response, but he also has not signed it as far as I'm aware, so.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't have much else. I believe Mr. Guernsey had a matter that he,
Yeah, if we
Wish
can
to discuss.
do an executive session for about 5 minutes for, do employee discipline.
Personnel disciplinary matters?
That one, thank you. I was trying to think of what the verbiage was.
Yeah. We should have one laminated sitting down there, so we're not guessing. It's like, oh, that's not what it was. There's usually only 2 that we go into.
Oh, 5 minutes?
About 5 minutes, yeah.
We're gonna go into executive session for 5 minutes under RCW 42.30.1101F. Personnel disciplinary matters coming out at 9:38.
We have 7 people today online.
Am I good to go?
Yeah.
We're gonna extend for an additional 5 minutes coming out at 9:42.
Need webinar.
It is 9:43 and we are out of executive session. No decisions were made.
The last few things from the prosecutor's office. I have a few questions out from a couple of people. I know one of them is about the procedure for court documents and stuff. We're still working on with the moving of the new jail and stuff. So we're dealing with that at the other committee. What's the name of that committee?
Law and Justice Council.
Law and Justice Council.
Mr. Chair. Law and Justice Council.
I should know the name of that. And a couple of things for Tom that he's reached out for, so.
Okay.
We'll probably at the next update or just via email or something, I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, drive safe.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Enjoy your conference. Learn a lot.
It is a good one. It's a good conference, so we're
Good.
excited.
I believe that's all we have this
Yep.
morning.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, well, have fun.
Thank
And
you,
you're off.
commissioners.
You're off.
I'm off, yeah. Law and Justice.
Recess until 10 a.m.
And then you can sign in that way.
I'm gonna submit them.
Good morning, it is 10 a.m. and we are here for a state auditor's office exit conference. Good morning.
I knew it.
What do you need me to do?
I knew it was gonna be locked.
Hi, Mandy.
Good morning.
Is it all remote?
Oh, were you guys waiting outside?
No,
Sorry. Oh,
no.
okay. We have Justin.
What?
Do we need to move?
Is Michelle coming? I don't know. She might be logging in from her desk. I'm not 100%. I think Decorah was asking. So.
Juan,
Oh.
can you hear us?
One time for the hustlers.
One, so I can hear you, I just can't talk. You can
Yeah,
tell me-
I can hear you guys.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, if you want to open it up and then turn it over to the,
Yeah, we're opened up. We're ready as soon as you guys are ready, and we'll get started.
All right. I do have a PowerPoint presentation to share, so let me see if I can figure that out.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you see? Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint presentation?
Not yet.
Yep.
Now.
we got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hot off the press, thanks Caitlin.
You want to see the people or you just want to see the
There's more coming down
presentation?
too. It's a large document.
Oh, you can see the people.
So
Shell is online.
the document that you guys have is the exit packet. So we'll be referencing page numbers in that exit packet, and it includes our draft reports as well. We'll start off with introductions. My name is Mandy Wilson. I am the audit manager for Team Yakima. And with me today is Stephanie. She was the audit supervisor over both of the audits. Justin was the audit lead for the financial and federal audit. And Juan was the audit lead for the accountability audit. So this is a picture of the separately elected state auditor. Her name is Pat McCarthy. She's focused on increasing trust in government, and we do that by providing independent and transparent audits and examinations. We are a reporting agency, so we issue our reports on our website. And then we also have teams that focus on process improvement, efficiency, and effectiveness of government. So if you are ever interested in maybe a lean project or a cybersecurity audit or checkup, we provide that free of charge. So now we're going to go into the results of the financial audit, and I'm going to pass it over to Stephanie. Thank you, Mandy. And can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, great. So if you're wanting to follow along in the exit packet that you have in front of you, I know it's kind of hefty. The audit report itself is going to start on page 4. But then on page 7 is the page that's going to have the summary of the audit results. So one of the first audits that we completed was the financial statement audit, which covered the period from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. And the objective of a financial statement audit is to issue an opinion as to whether the information included in the financial statements can be relied upon to make decisions. In the financial statement audit, you can see here on the slide that we did have an unmodified opinion on the regulatory basis of accounting, which is the BARS manual that the county follows. The method of accounting is allowed in the state of Washington. So because the county doesn't use GAAP. We do also issue an adverse opinion on US GAAP. That just basically means that we don't give an opinion on GAAP. So the report does include that dual opinion, the unmodified opinion for your regulatory basis, as well as the adverse opinion for GAAP. Additionally, it's important to note that our audits are conducted with the government auditing standards. Those standards also require us to gain an understanding of the county's internal controls. So those processes that you go through to prepare those financial statements. If we were to identify any weaknesses or concerns, we'd be required to bring it forward to your attention. So in our report on internal controls, we did have a weakness identified. It was a significant deficiency in internal controls. We will be having a finding over that weakness, which we will cover next. But the good thing, we did not identify any deficiencies that we considered to be a material weakness. The audit standards also require us to consider any compliance with applicable laws, regulations, contracts, if there was any non-compliance that could affect the fair presentation of the financial statements. So here you can see that the report indicates there's no instances of non-compliance that were material to the financial statements. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before we move into the finding?
Not at this time.
Okay. So the finding is going to start on page 9 of your exit packet, and I will walk you through that. Okay. So in the finding, I'll walk you through the different sections that the finding contains. So this is what it will look like in the audit report itself. So in each of the findings, we have a title. So the county did not have adequate internal controls over ensuring accurate and complete reporting of its financial statements. In the background section, it just gives a little background information of the importance of having accurate financial statements. There's many users of them, including state and federal agencies, the county itself, and the public rely on the information reported in the financial statements to make decisions. It's ultimately management's responsibility for designing and implementing those internal controls to make sure those financial statements are reliable and the information in them is accurate. I've already mentioned that the county reports on the cash basis of accounting, which is prescribed by the State Auditor's Office Budgeting and Accounting Reporting Manual. Another regulation is that with the financial statements, there's state law that requires the county to submit the financial statements to our office that are accurate and complete, and those are due 150 days after fiscal year end. And again, our audit had found deficiencies in internal controls that we considered to be a significant deficiency, so we had to report that as a finding, and that is this here. The next section of the finding is the description of condition. So the description of condition really just gives what the deficiencies were that were identified. So the overall financial statements, it states that the county did not perform a detailed review of the financial statements, notes, and schedules to ensure that the information reported is consistent with the underlying accounting records, as well as the BAR's manual of reporting requirements. So here, some of the specifics, weaknesses that we identified was first that the annual report was submitted accurate and complete, that the bank statements were fully reconciled to the general ledger, which ultimately creates the financial statements, those figures that are reported. Correctly evaluate and implement BAR's manual requirements. So there's new accounting requirements that would be reported, and that includes compensated absences and subscription-based information technology arrangements, otherwise known as SPIDAs. Adequately research accounting requirements to properly report fund types, as well as the classification of the ending cash and investment balances. And lastly, verifying that the federal expenditures that are reported on your CFA, which is the Schedule of Expenditures of Federal Awards, that the information there is accurately reported. We do note in the finding that we did have this issue as a finding in the prior audit. The cause of condition is, like it sounds, the cause of what caused these weaknesses to occur. We understand that the county has had quite a bit of turnover and that there's been some system conversions in place during the period. So that really adds some constraints to the time and the resources that the staff can spend on the financial statements. And the effect of the finding, this section is ultimately the outcome, the results of the issues that we identified. So firstly, the notes to the financial statements weren't provided until November 2025. As I mentioned back in the background section, the financial statements are required to be reported to our office in May 2025. So when those financial statements are submitted, they should be complete and accurate and have all the information ready. So just delays in the availability of the information to our office just can like hinder the transparency and the timeliness of our audits. Also, some of the other items that we had identified is that the county did not consolidate 4 managerial funds. So managerial funds are funds that essentially just roll up into another fund on the financial statements. So we evaluated the fund types, as I mentioned in the weakness above. So there was just 4 funds that appeared that they should have been reported as a managerial fund instead of their own separate fund on the financial statements. And that is with the BAR's manual reporting requirements. The county also did not accurately reconcile the financial statements to the bank activity. So we compare the bank activity to these amounts that are actually reported on the financial statement. And we had some unexplained differences. The about 25.4 million and 32 million in the additions and reductions. It's likely due to the fiduciary activity, which is that custodial and external investment pool. The net difference of all of that is the ending cash and investments was off about 2.5 million. That just basically means we couldn't reconcile the financial statements exactly to the bank statements. There's a lot of activity that goes through those accounts, and in the general ledger that's reported on the financial statements. And so we just reported that these are unexplained because we weren't able to get down to reconciling them to match exactly. So then some other areas that we had identified were with the compensated absences and the SPIDAs, as well as environmental liabilities. So these amounts are reported on the county's schedule of liabilities, which reports any outstanding liabilities for the county. Compensated absences and SPIDAs were some of those new accounting requirements. So we just had some variances noted there. The county had some incorrect classifications of the ending cash and investments in the general fund, mental health fund, and criminal sales tax fund. So that's just basically which category that ending cash and investments is reported in. Many of them are reported assigned and they should have been restricted, or they were restricted and it should have been assigned. So the bar's manual reporting requirements gives requirements and details on how to classify those ending balances. We did identify that capital expenditures were over-reported about 1.4 million in the real estate excise tax fund. This is over-reported. It was just essentially reported twice. The county did subsequently correct this error. And then on the CFA, that schedule of expenditures of federal awards, the county had underreported that schedule by about 4.4 million, primarily due to the COVID funding. So we were able to do a lot of work looking into what the correct amount should be reported and worked with the staff on that, and the county had subsequently corrected this error as well. We do note that there are other immaterial errors that we identified. We have a schedule of uncorrected items that we do provide to the county. We don't put everything in the finding, just some of the bigger items. Then on the next page, we ultimately get to our recommendation. So based on all of the errors that we identified and those weaknesses in internal controls, we really just recommend that the county dedicate sufficient resources to ensure that those financial statements are accurate and complete. So strengthen the internal controls, specifically doing some research on those bars reporting requirements to ensure that the financial statements are reported correctly and implement any new accounting requirements in the years that they are applicable. It's really important to have a detailed review of those financial statements to make sure that they all correlate and agree with one another and that they agree to the underlying accounting records, your bank statements, and your general ledger. Properly classify and report the ending cash and investment activity. And then reporting that the funds are correct by their fund type and consolidating any managerial funds as necessary. Okay, and then for every finding that we issue, the county does have the opportunity to give a response. So we do put the county's response in the finding. We have our auditor remarks that we just appreciate the county's cooperation and assistance with us throughout the audit, and we will be following up to this on the next audit. And we list some applicable laws and regulations. Okay. So does anybody have any questions on the finding itself? No, I don't hear any. Okay. Okay, and then on the next slide, in your exit packet, also on page 20, it's towards the back, we do have the schedule of prior audit findings. So as I mentioned, we did have a finding in the prior audit for that financial statement recommendation. We do note that it's not corrected, and we do get the county's response for the corrective action taken. So you can see that will be included in that schedule, which is included in the audit report packet. Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
Quickly, what was the page that you just referenced from last year?
Page 20 for the summary schedule of prior audit findings. Okay, and then I will hand it off to Mandy to cover some other financial audit results, required communications.
Thank you, Stephanie. Auditing standards require us to communicate some items here. So the first one is identifying whether there were any material misstatements that were corrected during the audit, and there were no material misstatements. There are uncorrected misstatements that Stephanie had mentioned, and they are at the end of the exit packet. And we agree with management representation that these misstatements are immaterial, so we are able to issue an unmodified opinion.
We've
Did-
lost.
Did anyone? Okay, did we lose Mandy? Can't hear you. Did you mute on your?
We're not muted on our end.
I can't hear you, Mandy.
Mandy checked out, she was over it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try
Sorry about that.
My headset. Okay. What
The
part did you leave?
we last heard that with the uncorrected items that we agree with management's representations and we gave a clean, unmodified opinion.
Thank you. Okay. And then there are some items that we gave special consideration in our audit. In planning, for every single financial statement audit, we look at the ability to determine if management can circumvent controls. And we did not identify any concerns related to that first bullet point. And then the second bullet point, we were specifically looking at the classification of the ending cash and investment balances, which there were some errors that were reported in the finding related to that one. And then lastly, there are some other required communications. There were some significant difficulties encountered while performing the audit. As Stephanie had mentioned, the notes to the financial statements were due in May, and we received them in November. So that caused significant delays in getting those final financial statements ready for audit. And so we were unable to complete the audit in a timely manner. This audit was due in September to the Federal Clearinghouse. We do appreciate the working relationship that we have with the county, but we did experience some difficulties in receiving documents. So we just wanted to let you know about that. And I think that's all the information we have on the financial statement audit. And we're going to pass it on to Justin to talk about the federal grant compliance audit. But if you have any questions on the financial statement audit, we can answer any of those items. Okay. Hey, Justin, you can take over.
Thank you, Mandy. We'll jump back to the schedule of findings and question costs, which is that summary. So that will be on page 7 of your packet. So this will share in brief the results of the federal grant audit. So we will be issuing an unmodified opinion on the compliance with requirements applicable to its major programs. So we didn't identify any significant deficiencies in internal controls. However, we did identify deficiencies that would be considered to be material weaknesses. So on the next slide, we selected the program, the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, which was a little over $5 million. And these costs were approximately 59% of the total federal expenditures for fiscal year 2024. So with that material weakness, we will have to issue a finding in regards to this program. This finding will be on page 14 of your exit packet. And I'll go over this finding. So at the top is the title of the finding, which is the county did not have adequate internal controls for ensuring compliance with federal suspension and debarment requirements, and it did not comply with federal reporting requirements. The next section just lists out the ALN number and the title and the federal grantor name, which was the Department of Treasury. And I just also wanted to highlight that there were no known question costs and as a result of this non-compliance. So just a little bit of the background. So it details what the purpose of the federal funding is. And then on the next page, just a little bit about the two compliance areas. So federal requirements prohibit recipients from contracting with parties suspended or debarred from doing business with federal government. Whenever the county enters into contracts paid in all or part with those federal funds, it must verify that that contractor is not suspended or debarred. The county can do this by inserting a clause in that written contract, obtaining a written certification from the contractor, or checking the system for award management at sam.gov. The other compliance requirement is over reporting. So with the state and local fiscal recovery funds, that program requires a quarterly report, to be issued to them regarding how current funds are being spent, how they're being obligated. So for that current period and for the cumulative of the entire funding period. So that's just a little bit of the background. So the next section talks about the description of the condition. So our audit identified that the county did not have internal controls to verify one contractor that it paid more than $25,000 in federal funds. And we consider this to be an internal control, this deficiency to be significant. On the next page talks about the reporting piece of the finding. Although the county did have a process to ensure reports were submitted, its controls were inadequate for ensuring some of those key line items were accurate. The reports of the expenditures to date and the obligations were not supported by the general ledger or other supporting award documentation. So for each of the 3 quarters that we tested, we identified that there were some under-reporting and over-reporting for these quarters. Next, the finding discusses the cause. So with the suspension department, the county provided these funds to the district court department, and then other departments across the county. They were just unaware that they needed to check for that suspension and debarment for the contractor. For reporting, the county had a turnover in the grants manager position during the course of the SLRF funding, which resulted in the documentation and tracking of expenditures to be inconsistent. So with the effects, the suspension debarment, with that weakness in controls, the county has the risk of entering a contract with a suspended or debarred contractor. The one contractor that we identified that wasn't checked was paid $360,000. So without those internal controls, the county increases that risk of awarding some of that federal money to that suspended or debarred contractor. The county subsequently verified that the contractor was not suspended or debarred, so we are not questioning those costs. And then with reporting, we documented the over-reported and under-reporting for the current period obligations, current period expenditures, cumulative obligations, and cumulative expenditures for the 3 quarters that we tested. So we identified for 1 quarter, the cumulative expenditures were over-reported by close to $4 million. So we recommend with suspension debarment that the county strengthen its internal controls to verify that all contractors that are paid over the $25,000 are checked for that suspension and debarment. And then for reporting, we're recommending to strengthening those internal controls to ensure accurate reporting to the U.S. Department of Treasury on those quarterly reports. And just like the financial statement finding, the county has provided a response, and we have provided a remark, and we just want to thank the county for its cooperation and assistance during the audit, and that we'll review the status of the audit during our next audit. Are there any questions regarding this finding? Okay.
Not at this time.
Okay. Just like the financial statement audit, we do follow up to the prior audit findings. So we took a look at the finding over the same program that was issued last year over ensuring compliance with federal subrecipient monitoring. So this is on page 21 of your packet. So we identified that the status appeared to be fully corrected. The county has taken steps to address our recommendations, and we didn't identify any issues or concerns over subrecipient monitoring during our audit. Right. And any questions over that? And then I will let Juan discuss the accountability audit.
Thank you, Justin. All right. For the accountability audit, the report on the exit packet starts on page 37. However, we'll skip over to page 40, where we have the audit results in brief. I'll start off by covering the period that the audit is covering, which was a 2-year period for fiscal years 2023 and 2024. And so in that first paragraph, this report describes the overall results and conclusions for the areas that we examine. You'll see there that we have listed that in those selected areas, county operations complied in all material respects with applicable state laws regulations, and its own policies, and provided adequate controls over the safeguarding of public resources. If we go over to the next paragraph, we do note, however, that there were certain matters related to tracking and monitoring of theft-sensitive assets, budget compliance, and accounts payable that we communicated to management um, in a letter dated today as a management letter. So we'll cover those here in the next couple slides. Just a keynote before we move to the next slide. In keeping with general auditing practices, we do not examine every transaction, activity, policy, internal control, or area. As a result, no information is provided on the areas we did not examine. Perfect. Now we'll go over the areas that were selected for audit. So using a risk-based audit approach for the county and the period that we listed, we selected the following areas for review. The first one including the tracking and monitoring of theft-sensitive assets, such as computers, tools, and equipment. We took a look at budget compliance to determine compliance with applicable state law. Accounts payable, where we looked at general disbursement transactions to ensure they were properly supported, as well as electronic fund transfer payments. We also took a look at the county self-insurance programs, which included the health and welfare and unemployment compensation. Cash receipting, where we looked at the timeliness and completeness of deposits, documentation for voids and adjustments at the treasurer's office. Procurement for public works projects, purchases, and professional services. We also took a look at financial condition, which included an overview review for any indications of financial distress. Payroll, where we recalculated gross wages and retroactive payments. Use of restricted funds, compliance with interlocal agreements. Accounts receivable, which was an overview of billings for any interlocal agreements. And then open public meetings, where we look at compliance with meeting minute documentation and executive session requirements. All right, now we'll move over to the first management letter, and that one starts on page 47. And the first one is covering the theft-sensitive assets. So here in the first sentence of the paragraph, we list the overall responsibilities for the county to establish effective policies and controls to safeguard public assets from theft, loss, or misuse. Yes, 46, sorry. Specifically, we'd like to highlight the second sentence, which just highlights that county policy requires county departments to maintain an inventory of small and attractive assets, of which the threshold for a theft-sensitive item to be classified as such is between $550 to $4,999. Theft-sensitive item includes a variety of items, which could include equipment, computer, and radios, as well as other items. So as part of our audit, we examined the inventory listing and procedures for the Sheriff's Office and the Public Works Department. These departments combined collectively track more than 1,000 items. And so as part of our review, we examined 36 items and identified various issues with all of them. Those issues included 12 assets not having a physical inventory tag. 20 of the assets had conflicting information on who the custody or the location of the asset. The remaining 16 of the assets did not document the personnel that they were assigned to. And then there was 3 assets in the asset listing that were not properly removed when they were disposed. Some additional concerns that we noted is that the Sheriff's Office did not document the acquisition cost on its asset listing. Therefore, it cannot demonstrate whether the assets should be meet that threshold to be included in the asset listing. Further, the Public Works Department did not document the acquisition cost for 3 of the assets on the asset listing. They included 4 assets with the cost that was below the threshold, and it included 3 assets that exceeded the threshold on the asset listing. Additionally, county policy requires departments to perform an annual inventory. While county departments do provide an asset listing annually to the accounting office, the documentation for that was not able to demonstrate that the departments completed a physical inventory of the asset listings. So overall, we recommend the county strengthen its controls over the tracking of theft-sensitive assets to ensure departments adequately implement county policies, specifically to perform annual inventories to timely identify missing assets as policy requires, and to maintain accurate and updated asset listings. Is there any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. Here on the next slide, we have a status of prior management letter items. So we include this slide whenever we have a recommendation where we notice similar concerns in the prior audit. So this area was an area that was management letter was issued as part of the prior accountability audit, and we performed our follow-up work during this audit in which we have this management letter. As a result, we're listing it as being unresolved. All right, next we'll move over to budget compliance, and this one's it's at the very top of page 47. So for budget compliance and the recommendation, we have listed two requirements for the county as far as related to budget expenditures. The first one being bars 2.4.3.40, which states that budget appropriations are legally binding and governments cannot spend more than the amounts budgeted. It does allow that as new information becomes available throughout the year, governments can amend, increase the budget through formal processes. Further, state law states that the county auditor shall issue no warrant and the county commissioner shall approve no claim for any expenditure more than the detailed budget appropriations or as revived under the provisions of the state law listed here, except upon an order of the court of competent jurisdiction or for defined emergencies. So our audit, we took a look at the final appropriated budgets for the county funds, and we identified that the county overspent approved budgets for 4 funds in 2023, totaling $386,000, and 5 funds in 2024 that totaled $7.98 million. So here we recommend the county monitor and comply with this approved budget, including obligating expenditures only when funds have the available resources and budget.
Is there a list of where we can find these? I think I know what it is, but I just want to confirm what accounts were overspent.
Yes, Cindy, I can provide that to you. And we had a memorandum regarding those as well because we were unable to either meet the hearing requirements and publication requirements for the time frame or meet the budget compliance. It was one or the other,
Okay.
so, but I can forward that to you.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Okay, perfect. Then I'll pass it over to Mandy to go over the accounts payable.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just double checking. I put my headset back on. Okay. So, since 2016, unfortunately, Washington governments have reported more than $38 million of loss of public funds resulting from cyber loss, which could be phishing, spear phishing, or business email compromise schemes. So in these schemes, there's a external threat, a bad actor that contacts the government, making themselves look like a known source, such as an employee, a manager, a vendor, or a business associate. And government staff are convinced to redirect valid payments to the external threat, the bad actor, or also purchase gift cards and provide them with card numbers. So it's really important that governments implement robust internal controls over all disbursements, including a verification process for these requests to change employee or vendor contact information, as well as purchase gift cards, especially when they come through email, phone, or fax or other electronic method. So the county is responsible for establishing effective internal controls over electric payments. The county did not have adequate controls over vendor payments to protect public funds. In 2025, the county reported a phishing incident related to misappropriation of public funds. The county relied on a fraudulent email to change the payment information on file for one vendor and subsequently sent 2 checks to the bad actor. The county was able to cancel one of the checks but suffered a $146,000 loss for the second. The county worked with its bank and the receiving bank to ultimately recover the funds. So on the next page, related to the internal controls, the county did not have written policy or practice requiring sufficient verification over requests to change vendor payment information. And also that the county had informal expectations over the process, but county staff did not consistently or adequately follow the intended procedures. So we're recommending the county develop written policies and procedures over vendor payments to require adequate verification of those changes. And also we're recommending the county strengthen its internal controls to ensure staff follow those verification procedures, and also provide adequate communication and training to staff on the verification requirements. Do you have any questions on the last management letter?
No.
All right, so these reports will be published on our website in about a week. You can receive a email if you sign up through the link here, or you can just go directly to our website under the reports section. When we issue our reports, we also send out audit surveys. So you can forward that survey to anybody that we worked with in the county. We value your opinions on our audit services, and we're trying to improve our processes as well. And we have a few closing remarks. The audit costs were in alignment with our original estimate. And then the next audits are scheduled for this year. The accountability audit for just fiscal year 2025 and the financial statement and federal grant compliance audit is also for 2025. We provided an estimated cost in the packet for budgeting purposes. Our team, Yakima, will no longer be performing the audit. Team Wenatchee will be taking back over the audit. Kathleen Lentz is here, but she's just unable to share her video and her mic. Otherwise, I would introduce you to her. But it's the same team as that had performed the audits 2 years ago. And lastly, we just have a slide for any questions that you may have.
Yes, I do. This is Daryl Pheasant, Grant County Treasurer. Under the summary of uncorrected items, I'm seeing things that I never was brought up to me that I disagree with. On page 50, third item down, Fund 111. State law says that should be a separate fund and not commingled with the current expense fund. Yet this recommendation says it's supposed to be.
It should be separate, but not independently presented on the financials because it doesn't meet the criteria for inflows.
Okay, yeah, because there's also a part of the law where there's not a budget requirement, even though for transparency, we still do so. So
they're not recommending to commingle it, Daryl.
Okay. All right. Also, on the fourth area, they bring up leasehold excise, BEV privilege, and payment in lieu. Actually, leasehold excise tax, when the treasurer receives it, it gets dispersed to many different taxing districts as well, besides current expense. So I'm not sure why.
Where's that at, Daryl?
Right here.
What page?
Page 50.
Page 50.
Yeah, it's saying different 319 The actual difference is probably is to all the money that's dispersed to other taxing districts as they rightfully get that portion of leasehold tax that's given to us. Also, the PV privilege tax, actually a big portion of that goes to cities as required by law at a minimum of 0.0075% or higher, depending on the commissioner's decision. So that's why current expense doesn't receive all that money. Then the payment in lieu of taxes, this is regarding, this number looks like the Department of Fish and Wildlife number. That money also about 5 years ago, the Department of Revenue changed their policy and had all monies on that particular PILT payment be dispersed to taxing districts as well. So these differences are because of that, not because of any problem.
Yeah, I can answer that. We get a state treasurer distribution report. Our office does, and what we do is we just compare the amounts that they say the county has received to your general ledger. It's not in a specific fund or opinion unit. So we just compare it to the coding that the state says it should be reported at versus what is actually recorded in the general ledger. And we noted those differences. So it could be on the county's end where maybe it's miscoded somewhere else, just for the timing of the audit and the significant delays. We just couldn't research it any further. So it's just noted here on the uncorrected items as something for the county to consider and to look into to make sure that what you're receiving from the state treasurer is agreeing with your accounting records.
Okay, so the other taxing districts must be supposed to have a different coding to them where this would not have been an issue.
So the state distribution report that we compare it to is just the county's revenue that the state says the county revenue is. So there in the state distribution report, there are other entities that we did not look at.
This would apply then to all counties, which would have the same issue.
So we are comparing county revenues that the state said was just county compared to your financial statements.
So I guess.
And we can provide you that report as well.
Okay, so the state provided misleading information.
So Dara, when you get those funds, do you automatically remit them to their, those special tax districts? So they're saying that we should record those as inflows to the Grant County and then disperse them, and we did not.
Oh, okay.
They were not on our general ledger for the county
So
as
we're
received
supposed to
revenues.
like put it in a current expense suspense fund and then do a negative transfer out to those funds.
I don't know exactly without looking into, but we need to look into it.
Okay, well, I'll have to talk
That's
to
all
the
that is.
counties because that's been talked about in our meetings.
Well, Daryl, she's also stated because the report was late that they didn't have time to fully investigate.
Yeah.
So they wrote it down just as a
Okay.
note. So
All right.
I think we could
And
correct.
we'll send you over that report as well.
Thank you, Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda, I do want to take the opportunity to thank you guys. It's been great working with Team Yakima, and I do appreciate your guys' flexibility. Grant County's financial audits have typically been challenging to meet that September deadline, and historically, not even in the same year that they start the audit, but this year was coupled with some significant turnover with our key accountant at the same time as the audit, along with our implementation of our ERP system. So I do appreciate you guys being patient and flexible and allowing us to extend the audit as needed so that we could implement that financial system.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate all your help as well. Okay.
Is that all we
Well,
have?
Yep, if there's no further questions, we will hand it back to you guys to close out the meeting.
Okay,
Well, thank you.
thank you. We appreciate it.
Our financial report will be today, but once it's published and available on the website, a link will be sent to you guys so that you guys can actually view it on there. And that will be the final draft that we'll submit to your person that's waiting on it.
And it's reported to Emma.
Yes, we will do our Emma reporting. We have 30 days from report publication.
Anything
Thank you,
else?
Stephanie.
Okay. we'll go into recess until 11 o'clock. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, it is 11 a.m. and we are here for Commissioner work. Commissioners meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. Open forum for public input, 3 minutes per person, 15-minute time limit. There's no one in our room, and
You have 3 attendees online. One is Carrie Stockton. She has no public comment. You have an iPhone guest and Michael Miller. So iPhone guest, I've given you the ability to unmute. Michael, if you have any public comment, please use Zoom to raise your hand.
This is Janice Flynn. I do have one quick comment. Today, I was listening to at least part of the auditor's comments of the exit audit. And I know when we put together those contracts for the ARPA regarding the disbarment, we worked with the prosecutor's office because it was Rebecca. Rebecca did those for us. She prepared those contracts and she put in a couple of sentences that should have sufficed to that requirement about disbarment where the contractor says we are in compliance. And so anyway, I just wanted to mention that. That was it. Thank you.
thanks, Janice.
Thank you.
Nothing else. We'll move on to approve the agenda.
We have any walk-on items?
We have one
For New Hope, kind of a cover letter for a grant.
for a grant. Contract for a grant.
Okay, then I move to approve the agenda with the addition of one walk-on item.
A second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Agenda has been approved. We'll move on to correspondence, emails received that need response, letters of support, etc.
I did reach out to the individual about the,
Assault.
yeah, and I think she's gonna call, she said she called and left a message with Caitlin in her office yesterday morning. I'm like, well, Caitlin was with us, not able to call back. So I told her I wasn't willing to do a variance. I don't think you can do a variance, and to put something in our right of way outside of the scope of the recommendation of our engineer.
Works.
Like, I don't think the commissioners, any of the commissioners would approve such a thing because of the liability that places on us and on the landowner. But if the landowner chooses to have something in the right of way, they are also liable for any damage of a vehicle or person hits a bicycle. So I think she may set up an appointment, but I tried to explain kind of where our stance was.
I appreciate that. Yeah, because if we allow one, we're gonna have to start
Well, she
allowing
did
everybody.
mention there were some
It's
trees and
not-
some other things when she kind of looked down. They said there was something in the center of the road, so I don't know if it was is it called the sentinel marker, if they were able to pull. So I told her I needed more information, because sometimes the right of way in the road is not always in the center of the right of way. Sometimes it kind of moves around. So we'll have to talk to Public Works, but they said they did measure it.
Yeah, they were out there and measured it, so I'm gonna
I believe
go
it
with
was the
Public Works.
sentinel marker she was talking about in for the cap, whatever is in the center of
Oh,
the road.
right. Survey marker.
Yeah. But I need to follow up with Public Works on that.
That email from the port on that letter of support, I asked for them to next time maybe reach out to us and give us a heads up before they just send a letter recommendation. More in the loop of what they have going on. I see they sent a letter, but it'd just be nice to know what they're doing in advance. I haven't heard back from them yet, so. Morning, Jerome.
Morning.
You have anything else? Caitlin, got anything else? No? Okay, we'll move on to Commissioners Roundtable.
You're Skill Source board member?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Board source, skill source.
I'm not on the board, I'm just
The executive, you're on the executive board.
I go to the meetings.
He's kind of a big deal.
Danny did that, right?
I did that, Danny did it. Mhm.
I've never done that one.
There's some good success stories. I
That's
love the
been
success stories.
Yeah, the last one was the last success story there.
Maybe we just have one interview and then that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have anything else for a roundtable. I don't think. I'm looking around. I do have one. I reached out to Dell just in the community meeting. One of the citizens commented that we don't offer telehealth, which I did reach out to Dell. We do offer telehealth. And it was more of for some of our employees to work from home. A couple of years ago, we said, everybody kind of come back. We're not allowing anybody to work from home. Because they're short therapists, some have the ability to work from home part-time. So Dell would like to meet with us and just kind of see if we could work with that so that they could keep these therapists. I think 3 of them had babies, and so they would work around, they would have daycare, they would have a grandparent or somebody watching, they would be in a room. So I think we could, just hearing the need out there, I think we need to visit with Dell and see if there's something we can do to help them.
It would also be nice if he would update us on their plans for those apartment complexes and give us a full overview of what their plans are for those apartments. My understanding is the city of Moses Lake is holding their recommendation because they have a lot of unanswered questions.
Well, this is
Have they reached out for questions?
Disconnect.
They're pretty easy to talk to.
They came in and gave their presentation but they didn't have answers to some of the questions that they were asking.
I mean, the big problem with that whole project is 450,000 a unit. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the housing and the percentage-based housing is kind of needed here. I mean,
Definitely.
People might not agree, but you'd be shocked how many people are in Grant County and Hope Source housing. Probably thousands. So,
Really?
yeah, I mean, housing authority owns like
quite a few.
No,
600 houses.
It's needed. I'm not arguing that.
But the price per unit's wild.
That's way too much. And not only that,
I gave my comments to the newspaper.
how are they gonna manage them?
Hope Source is gonna manage them, I believe.
So.
It's all gonna be
those are my
state
concerns.
funded.
Well, and it's situations like this that I think we get, and I enjoy the update that we get from Tom, but I'm missing, like we just met with New Hope today, I'm missing the interaction of, we kind of get one side of it, but we can't, when she's having issues, we can't really resolve the issues going back and forth. We're kind of, so I would kind of like to meet, like if we cut PMRT down a little bit, even
Half
as,
hour.
yeah, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, just meet with some of our department heads that are not scheduled in, just so we can get, they may not have anything, and just like, I don't want to cancel, but I am missing that interaction of,
They could zoom in.
when you're, yeah, they could just zoom in and do that, but I would really like that direct communication with our department heads. And again,
Wasn't that the purpose of roundtable before? Was for you to have that interaction?
Yeah, we've kind of gotten away from it though.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to at least, talk to them at least once a month at least.
I think I do miss that interaction where it was like, kind of, we had a designated time. They would come like the reports or say something if they needed to talk to you about, it was just more of, so I miss that. I didn't. And like I said, I do like the emails at Tom because they're, a lot of information. I think it's a back and forth. Like when you find little things out in the community, there's a need or a want and things that maybe we can fix.
Anybody else have anything?
The question for Rob, but also the board, the tourism master plan. It's my first question was if Rob, if you've had time to look over that final version.
Mhm.
Then the consultant was asking if you would like a Zoom session to review or make edits, or what the board would like to do when it comes to adoption of the tourism master plan. And it's only gone to Rob, the rest of the.
Oh,
board
okay,
hasn't
because I'm
seen it.
like,
Sorry,
you know, don't believe I've seen it. Is there a reason it only went to Rob?
Probably because I'm tourism chair.
Okay, so I guess I don't have a comment on it if I haven't seen it.
I just don't know if you like, are you guys
Yeah,
wanting to do a
okay,
Zoom
so-
meeting to like review the whole thing, or are you wanting to just review it on your own time?
I'd like to just, yeah, do the Zoom.
Do Zoom?
Yeah, it'll probably just be 30 minutes.
With the full board or just?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can say their opinion.
Yeah, is there an ability to get a copy of that before a Zoom meeting?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Thank you.
I'll work on getting that scheduled and sent to you guys.
Nothing else, we'll move on to our consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve our consent agenda items 1 through 15.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve our consent agenda items 1 through 15. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the New Hope, I believe it's a grant cover letter.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, and a motion and a second to approve the walk-on item for New Hope. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 I just want to commend Caitlin for the minutes are just up to date and I don't know, do you sleep
They
at night?
made it on time, or they were seal coating.
Well, I don't really sleep at night, but I don't stay here.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess out there right now.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna try to remember to go down the Connie Road on the way home.
That one, that's the walk-on.
I'm running. I'm going fast.
chairs or?
I know, I think
Oh,
that
no.
was usually on the end.
I see.
No.
There's a third chair on your side. Maybe Rob would just sit in the middle.
Pen go. Somebody stole it.
Well, I got one for Kevin, or do you have?
Pesky stealer. Oh, there's a Jolly in there. My whole day is better. Sad life.
We're Thursday, right?
Yes.
Is this his birthday? Is it your anniversary?
No.
Oh.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, good.
On the plat that you signed yesterday, you put that it was the 6th of June.
He's hungry.
Correct that.
I did, yes.
I won't put anything on it. It's a 20, oh, it is 6/23.
Yes.
My birthday time,
My bad.
It's the minutes.
Yesterday was
I'm
definitely.
gonna do for your birthday next year.
It was only on the plat. On the cover sheet, you got the date right there.
Something crazy.
It's great.
It's something big. You know, it's retirement party birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Rough day yesterday.
It's not hot.
Left your badge at Home Depot
Did you really? Didn't they call it in?
for the
Yeah,
Called
you turned
this
into
morning.
badge police.
badge police.
Oh, that makes sense.
Is that Tom? Is Tom the badge police?
That was Lucy, that's probably HR. Who did they call? Did they get hold of you? They probably
Oh,
Googled
yeah,
it.
don't print the front. Well, it says if this badge is found, call HR.
It just says, yeah, it says return to human
Oh my
resources.
And you said, don't forget to
Oh, my niece his husband works there, so that's.
I know this joker.
I'm in there almost every day, so.
Me too. Just
I'm
ask
lucky.
my credit card.
That better than that.
I spent a taste and then it declined. I was like, oh my gosh, that's not a good thing.
It's a reimbursement request.
New
New Hope. Reimbursement request from McKay Healthcare.
You know, my card had declined, so then I looked at my balance for this month and I was like, oh my gosh.
Reimbursement request
I
from
hope
McKay
it was
Healthcare.
stolen. $60,000. I don't even know what I bought.
Reimbursement request from Renew.
That's what I thought. I just thought maybe I was late on a payment, but I wasn't.
Reimbursement request from Renew.
You have to raise the price of turkey legs.
The
Is there a
water park,
request
I
to
think I had
purchase?
12,000 in equipment.
A water park?
Yeah, I have the water park in Moses Lake. And then who knows what else I bought last month. It's kind of fun.
Water park?
Mm-hmm. There's my little surf
It's a
shack
contract
center,
with
too.
Farmers Electric.
What's your surf shop?
It's a little shack I had built over the last couple of years. I'll show you a picture
So you have the surf shack
and
and
the kitchen. Fun.
they're open 24/7.
7 days a week. I've been there since yesterday. It's hard though, because I have a soft serve machine in there now.
Mhm.
Hard to walk past that. Every time I'm like, then I'll be leaving, I'm like, I might as well get a refill.
Are you really good at swirling the cone?
No.
No?
The kids are. I'm like, okay, half that size, half that
I
size.
feel like you get more when you get less when you swirl it, you get more when you
Go.
kind of pump it up, like the DQ.
That's what I try to do.
So if you swirl it, you have a hole in the center.
Yeah.
Not if you're swirling it right. But if you do it right,
Yeah, I guess slow and steady. But I like the, kind of your.
Are you good at doing cones?
I used to be. I was the cone
You're
person.
like the,
I was the cone person at
I know, that's why I
McDonald's.
was saying maybe you should.
you know,
come
it
and
is an art because some
show
people
how.
it's like.
No, it's been a bit. I'll probably be really bad at it.
No, it's just like riding a bike. It's like shaving ice.
Caitlin, if you're really bored on the weekends or evenings,
There you
go
go.
make fun.
Burgers,
Go send my
cones,
toddler over there. She'll
fries.
learn. Actually, and if you got cones and fries, she'll just sit there happily the whole time I'm there.
Fries and food.
She eats potatoes like they're going
I
out of
like the skinny
style.
fries.
Yep, skinny fries, popcorn, salt. Burgers are good too. It's all good.
She's obsessed with cheeseburgers right now. Look at
Try not
that.
to sell any
Perfect.
from what she's eating. It's good.
That is how she's eating.
It's
Yes.
like county barbecue cheeseburgers. Basically the same
She
stuff.
doesn't care what kind of
No,
cheeseburger.
that's what
Oh,
I know. It's the same thing.
okay.
It's hard to say.
Speaking of, we haven't talked about candy barbecue.
Well, it's gonna be easy.
It's
We'll
October.
just
I was gonna wait for
Bring in the
just a
water
little bit
park
longer.
crew and we don't even need to do anything.
We were thinking that it would be really good to have some sort of like high energy morale thing, like
We're giving you
elected
guys a
officials
day
doing a
off.
race,
Like bring
like
Sir Mix-a-Lot
like
from
elected
upstairs.
officials
I did
doing a race.
I pulled my quad playing baseball because I had to hurry and beat the ball, and I'm like, not quite sure
Same.
Look.
why that was. And I didn't know other people had done it too. I'm like, why are we way too old to be playing baseball?
You just need 3 elected officials to, like 2 to hold the rope at the end and 1
How are you?
to.
Good, how about yourself?
I was at tug of war and the rope broke right by me and snapped my arm.
Sick? Me too, kind
You know,
of.
the great big,
Got like the bronchial and
just, so
Something like that.
our insurance would never allow it because we would get hurt.
Doctor get some,
If it's just a raise,
put me on steroids for that.
We'll go on recess
Okay, well, hurry
until.
it up.
feeling good.
I am.
I want some of those.
Caitlin, I'm almost 60.
And
Okay, it is 11:30 and we are here for a human resources update. We have an open forum for public comment, 5-minute time limit. Human resources related topics only, and there's no one in the room.
you have one attendee, it is Michael Miller. So Michael, if you have any public comment for human resources related topics, please raise your hand on Zoom.
Hearing none. It's all you, Gina.
Thank you. All right. Just kidding. Well, really, there's only one thing.
Yeah, so looking for item 2 through 4, item number 5, position management. Yesterday in Pumar, you heard solid waste requests regarding a project position for a roadside litter crew. Is the board prepared to make a decision?
Tell me yes.
Is this a backfill?
It's a temporary backfill.
Seems to be working pretty well.
They were picking up a lot of stuff.
Yes, definitely,
Yeah, that was a good move, I think.
absolutely.
Okay, if I can get signatures on that, that would be
It's
great.
like actually a public service.
Yes.
And can we go into employee review? I don't know if there's one. I have a question. Executive
Employee
session.
review,
Well, yeah, job applicant employee review, number
3.
3. Just kind of get an update, see how things are going. I don't know if you have an update, but
5 minutes, 10 minutes?
5 minutes should do it.
5 minutes.
We'll go into executive session for 5 minutes, coming out at 11:37 for job applicant evaluation, RCW 42.30.1101G. We're gonna extend for another 5 minutes, coming out at 11:42.
Thank you.
It is 11:42 and we're out of executive session. No decisions were made.
Okay. Items 6 through 9, I don't have anything new for you today. Item 10, Tyler, executive sponsor. I would have thought that the current executive sponsor would have brought this forward to the board, but that has not happened. So I sent out an email, which, as you all know, have become a firestorm. So it is in your hands to name.
Well, personally, I feel the duty should fall to the new auditor if they want to assign somebody else.
We're looking
I mean, I think visit with the
We're
new
looking at
auditor.
7 days, right? You know, at the end of June. That's next Tuesday.
Mhm.
And
A week from tomorrow, we'll have a new auditor and a new treasurer, or me, hopefully.
As you've all read in my email, back to Michelle, is my concern really is overwhelming a person in a new role. That was my concern through this whole Tyler project, is we continued to hire people. I'm gonna back up. The auditor continued to hire people who needed to learn the current system, implement a new system, and I wouldn't put anybody in that situation. It's too much for any person, and there are casualties, have been several casualties because of it. We've lost employees. People feel singled out. There are a lot of hurt feelings. The fact is, putting all the feelings aside, this project needs to be successful. The county has dedicated too much time and too much money for it to not be successful. So personally, I don't have any issue with who it is. I just don't want us to repeat the same mistake and overwhelm one person. And the new person might be very capable and can take it on, but it concerns, I just worry about anybody being overwhelmed.
I think we all have that same concern. I
Yeah.
mean,
So-
that's a big job.
It's a beast, but I just feel like it would be a disservice to the new auditor coming in. We'll meet with the auditor, you know, if they want to kind of pass it on. I think there's some capable individual doing it. There's also some,
On it.
I'm not, if we want to go into executive session, but, I just feel like it would just create other issues. So I think for the time,
I think there's a couple of them that know what's going on and they're well aware of what they're stepping into. So I think they're ready to take the reins and do what they need to do, but, you're right, it's gonna be a big task. It's scary, I mean,
got an election coming up. We've got all sorts of things.
All kinds of things, and I think, I just think that it's a lot for any one person, and it's been proven over and over. It's a lot for a lot of people doing it, right? HR included, we're all doing our piece, and it's a lot. So, anyways, I digress. I will leave it with the board. Make your decision whenever you make the decision, and we'll move forward.
Just to throw this out there, if the board is taking action on a topic that is discussed in an email, the email thread needs to be printed as part of the public facing minutes packet. I'm not sure what was discussed in this.
Oh, I just said it would be a board
just-
decision. I think there were some things, I did respond.
Okay, it's part of the
Okay.
records retention is anything that
There was action, there was
supplements the board's
reply.
decision needs to be part of the minutes packet, so I
It's all
just
public record anyways, so.
wanted to.
But thank you,
make
yeah,
sure we're-
yeah. And it isn't so much the email, it's just that, Holly, our project manager, we need to know, she needs to know who is going to be that sponsor, that executive sponsor, so.
Well, I'm assuming it will be the auditor until the auditor says no.
I'm just gonna add that as the doer of things in Tyler, myself, Decorah, Larissa, the executive sponsor makes the decisions. And if we have to wait for something because they don't know and they need to be up to date, that is gonna delay the project. And so as long as everybody's aware that this person has to get up to speed, and when I go to this person and say, hey, we need to do this, we need your permission, Michelle would always sign off and say, fine. I don't know if this person's gonna want all the details, if they're gonna wanna go into it and look, and that's gonna create delays. So just saying that out loud.
sure, okay. Makes sense. That's the mystery. We won't know until
Yeah,
we know.
we don't know until we know.
Okay.
Time to change.
Either way, I mean, it's just.
The only thing constant is change.
That is all I have for you. Does the board have anything for us?
I don't think so. Yeah, other than to reach out to Kim. And then Brandon came in today and said that he visited with you. He's got an issue. Maybe Gina.
Okay.
Okay. We're aware of that one.
There's always something.
Yeah, I wish there were not.
Always something somewhere. That's what we do.
All right, I guess we'll go into recess until 1:30.
Thank you.
It is 1:30 and we are here for deputy clerk of the board interview. We are gonna go into executive session till 2 o'clock under applicant evaluation RCW 42.30.1101G coming out at 2 o'clock. It is 2 o'clock and we are out of executive session. No decisions were made and we will be.
Wait, are we
Do we go
done?
back into
Do we want to
executive session
discuss?
so we can discuss it?
You tell me.
I would love the opportunity to discuss further.
So let's go like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna go back into executive session for another 5 minutes coming out at 2:05. Okay, it is 2:05 and we are out of executive session. No decisions were made and we are in recess until
Thursday at 9 a.m.
Thursday at 9 a.m.
I'll be remote.
And
I'll
Rob
try to be on. I don't know if I will.
And Rob will be remote and he's gonna try to be.
But he doesn't know if he will.